Welcome everyone to the Reading Writing Corner. I'm your host Leanne, and if I sound like a mess, I am a mess, and if I sound like I have a cold, I have a cold. Well, sinus problem. This is a non-spoiler part of the review for Until the Full Moon by Sanami Mato. It's a manga. Yay! This is part of a series called Until the Full Moon. Because, series don't have series names. In manga, they're just literally, usually, whatever their name title is. So there's that. Now, about the series. What would you do if you were not a vampire like your father and not a werewolf like your mother, but a man that changes into a female on the full moon? As in Marlo. So, what made me read this manga? The premise of the book, which is on the back, really. Whatever. Marlo has a problem. On the night of the full moon, this half werewolf, half vampire undergoes a mysterious and terrifying transformation. He turns into a girl. Desperate for a cure, his parents call on Dr. Vincent, a longtime family friend, but Marlon wants to keep his condition secret from Vincent's son, the vampire playboy David. Unfortunately, the secret gets out, and any problem surfaces. David is interested in Marlo's female form. If a remedy can't be found, the parents believe the next best solution is marriage. A marriage between Marlo and David. So, there's that. I wrote, after 10 years apart, aristocratic vampires and childhood friends, Marlo and David are back together as fiancés. Being half werewolf, half vampire, Marlo undergoes a peculiar transformation, becoming a woman rather than a beast under the full moon. So there's no problem for a wedding and David's womanizing things, right? So, Marlo changes under the effects of the full moon, but not into a werewolf. Now his parents and his friends' parents have decided that their children should get married. Marlo and David are childhood friends, but can they become lovers? The set about the characters and their motives is quick because it is a manga. Mangas have to be quick for their introductions to most characters. The characters react to the situation they find themselves in how I imagine they would in their world. Because, vampires and werewolves are different. The genre is actually considered BL manga, boy love, if you really need it. It says this one's fantasy romance, but it's a manga. Did this live up to my expectations? Yes, it was an interesting read. That's for sure. Which character did I write to the most? None of them, because I'm not a supernatural being, nor am I male, and nor was a male. Oh, there you go. Which secondary character stood out the most? Kim, because he reminds me of Bicky from her other manga called Fake. And Kim is a demon that serves David's family. If you must know. We'll get more into him later. What was more important, the characters or the plot? The characters are what was more important because obviously this is a manga and the characters are just everything, especially like for a duology like this because there's only two. So it's like there were multiple voices and it did not affect my reading. Should you go and read this story/series? Yes. If you enjoy mangas and BL romances with supernatural mixed in, this is the thing for you, the manga for you. If you think I deserve a like, comment, or give me a lovely subscription as you vamoose from the non-spoiler section of the review, drop it down below. The main characters, the side characters, and the weird characters. So, Marlo Vincent is a half vampire, half werewolf. This is Marlo. He can change into a female on the full moon, and he's actually in love with his best friend David. So, here's another good picture of it. I don't know why they got blonde. Both of them got blonde hair here, and that's Marlo's female form. That's Marlo. He's got brown here for some reason on that. And that's David. So, there's that. David Vincent is the name is Vincent for some reason. But they're not related to each other. He's a vampire playboy, childhood friend of Marlo. And actually is in love with Marlo too. Arnett, Vincent, family friend and doctor. Kim, servant of Arnett and David, and a lower level demon who is scared of human vampire movies when he works for vampires. Giorgio Vincent, Marlo's father. Mira Vincent, Marlo's mother. She's the werewolf. Because Giorgio is the vampire. Eric is a vampire friend of David's. He's in love with his adopted sister, Belicia, the adopted sister of Eric. Werewolf. And in love with Eric. Ira is a half witch, half vampire that loved Marlowe and was his girlfriend while Marlowe lived in America. Now, the last chapter of this one was a weird one. It's basically Marlowe's mother reading a book and replacing the characters' names with Marlowe and David. And, yeah. It's just a weird thing. As opposed to, she thought it would help them convince them that they should be together because of it. And they introduced a guy named Kyle, and it was supposed to be the love interest for the Marlowe in it. In an old folks tale that was part of the Yam tribe folktale. The Yam tribe is actually the tribe that Mira descends from, an all-male tribe, which is where there was an all-male werewolf tribe, and if you were destined to have children, you would turn into a female to be with somebody instead of a werewolf, which is weird. Weird. There are several POVs within this story, and it is all of the characters because it is a manga, and there is no clear POV in a manga. My favorite character was Marlowe. He didn't want David to know about his changing forms because even though he loved David, he was afraid of what David would do to his female form. My most disliked character was Ira. She wanted to break up Marlowe's fiance and him. Then, when she found out it was a guy, kill him, as she didn't believe Marlowe turned into a girl on a full moon until she actually witnessed it. And then she was like, I'm not in love with a girl. Bah. It was told in chronological order with appropriate language. There was very little foreshadowing and little suspense. It had one flashback in it. And it was very brief, like 1 page. Very brief. The background was explained enough to understand why Marlowe turned into a girl and how the two of them were in love. There was a sort of side story to give more details about Marlowe's mother's Yam tribe that existed a long time ago. The title of the book meant David had to wait until the full moon to be able to be with Marlowe as a female. The cover of the book is Marlowe and David surrounded by fruits and a bat. The one itty bitty little bat down there. What stood out as memorable? David and Marlowe both wanted to marry each other if Marlowe was a girl. And what do you know? Marlowe turns into a girl instead of a werewolf. He doesn't even have fangs. My favorite passage from the story is, I like you so much. I would be a girl for you. David's memory of what Marlowe said to him when they were 13 years old. And David's like, I'd marry you if you were a girl. My favorite quote, because you're fast with the girls. Marlowe says to David about why he was trying to hide his change from David. And David's like, oh, your parents are afraid I would womanize you? What I thought about the ending of the manga. I want to see the wedding. The wedding. The wedding. What manga did it remind me of? Fake by Sanami Mato. I mean, like, that looks like the two main characters in the Fake series. Like, I read the Fake series first, and that's what it reminded me of. This manga, as you know, is part of a series called Until the Full Moon, and it is only 2 volumes long. I read this before because of the Playboy trope. Would have been interesting if it didn't have that in there. Like, why'd you have to make David a Playboy that was hiding his feelings for a male friend that he couldn't be with because he liked girls? Just, yeah. So, if you think I deserve a like, commentary, and your lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.